Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome to the show, y'all. It's the Greg Davis Show. We gon' talk the talk, so get ready. We came to push the call, educating. So just lock that down and keep it steady. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Everything is alright. We're gonna help you get your life. It's the Greg Davis Show.
Welcome to the Greg Davis Show. I'm Greg Davis, and this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
You know what? I want the Lord to send now prosperity.
Why is it so dramatical?
Because I'm drama. That's why you have me
that
here.
is true.
This is why you have me.
You know, I didn't know that when we was getting into this, that she was going to be the drama part of it.
Well,
I could say drama
queen.
Thank you so much for sitting in. Y'all did a great job the other week that I was gone. I failed to say that because we played some shows when I was away in North Carolina. So this is the first show back from doing the North Carolina shows. But y'all did a great job, the whole team.
You think so? Say it again. Tell us thank you again.
Yeah, to Paris and Christy and Q Morgan.
Q Morgan.
And Tasha.
Yeah.
They did a great job. And, you know, often I bring in, I want to say this, I bring in co-hosts that people probably know, but in this situation, I brought in people that have been with us, interns, and they're no longer interns because they've been through intern and they end up hanging around. So they probably did that for you because they say, I mean.
I needed to help. I couldn't do it all by myself.
You did a great job, though.
And I said, what better than to get our own? No, seriously.
No, that wasn't your idea.
No, can you let me tell the story?
But
let me tell the story.
Let
me tell the story, because I'm going to eventually get to the truth.
Get to the truth.
Yeah. And, you know, so you was like, you called me, how about you think about, and I said, you know what, that's a good idea.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, well, we'll have this one on that show, and this one on that show, and this one on that show, and this one on that show. And then you rearranged it. Then I went back and said, no, we're going to have this one on that show.
So that's the part you did?
Yeah, that was my influence.
I got you. Anyway,
I paired them up strategically.
If you want more of this, you can listen to us every morning. That's a good segue.
Yes.
We do this and more. It's really the more foolishness in the morning. Our radio show every morning, 8 to 9:30. Go download the Greg Davis app or Lola George app. I am Lola George app, and you can pull it right from there. Or you can go to the website, gregdavisshow.com, and you can find out the station that we're on in Phoenix. We're on in Atlantic City, and of course we're on in Cleveland Heights in Cleveland, Ohio, Radio 1000. So every morning, 8 to 9:30. Follow us on Periscope. You can see us record. That's even more hilarious.
Yes.
You can see us record the Greg Davis radio show every evening. After we go up for television, actually.
That you'll see me get in trouble because that's what
all the time, like she's doing now. Because now it's time to tell it. We have a wonderful young lady with us who's very well known on social media.
Her name is Tara Carissa, and she enjoys being of service to all mankind. She's a champion, empowerment champion, and also she enjoys speaking, media appearances, coaching, and mentoring, helping people become empowered despite of their past. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. She enjoys serving the community through outreach initiatives and organizations she supports. Everybody, let's welcome the beautiful and the gorgeous Miss Tara Carissa.
Well, you guys surely know how to make a guest feel good. Thank you very much.
Glad to have you, and you're no amateur to the show. You've been here a few times from the beginning, and it's almost 5 years later. Welcome again.
Thank you.
And now you're taking on you're embarking upon a new career, a new height for you, and not just a prophetess, not just a preacher, but life coach.
Life coach, I love it. I've been life coaching since 2009, and literally it's really the peak of my day to really be able to minister to people one-on-one via phone. A lot of people, they'll come to the altar, but they'll get real with you when they feel in a safe place and space on the phone. And so just to be able to minister to people literally all over the globe. I've coached people in over 25 countries now. It truly is a blessing, and it really allows me to connect with people right where they are.
When did you realize that you had the gift to be, because there are people that will go to people and give advice. That's one thing. But to be able to coach, mentor, and develop people is truly a skill set, truly from God. When did you realize you had that gift?
You know what? what? I realized that I'm a very strategic person. And so when people would come to me and say, hey, I'm having this idea, I'm thinking about this, what are you thinking about that? And I would actually say, well, I see this working out for you, and it worked out for them. That let me know, okay, you can do this. And so I just jumped right in, and to God be the glory. I've seen my mentees go on to be on national television, start their own businesses, get their master's degree. And so to be able to look at how God has simply used me as a tool to impact their life, I give him the glory, and I'm truly honored and humbled.
When I think of a life coach, you know, it's a fine line between a preacher using a lot of scriptures, because really when you look at Joel Osteen, his method is life coach. You know, what's the fine line? What's the difference? Because you wear both.
I wear
She's
both.
smiling on that one.
I do, because you know, people, they sign up for my coaching and they think, oh, you're going to prophesy to me the entire time.
Exactly.
Not so. I'm not a psychic, but I will give you life strategies, and if the Spirit of the Lord speaks, so be it. But for me, the difference is practicality. When you go to church on Sunday, it's straight Bible. But when you come to my coaching session, I might say, you know what, girl, you had a bad breakup. Go get your hair done. Go get your nails done. Go eat ice cream. Go out to a movie theater. Just take on some really practical life skills that can really bless your life. And so to me, that's the difference. It's not all about, you know, what Jesus said, although we can certainly apply what Jesus says to anything, but what are the practical life coping skills and tools that you can apply to your life to see what it is that you want. I had to tell a young lady today, she said, you know, I really think I want to do this, but I'm not sure I want to go through the process. That's not a prayer, that's a decision. You make the decision if you want to go through the process of becoming who it is and what it is that you want to become.
Stop right there, because I want you to say that again, because we get too deep. Sometimes we're too deep. Too deep. Say that again, because that's not a prayer.
That's not a prayer. That's a decision.
Exactly. You ain't got to. Y'all ain't got to write me. You ain't got to bother God on that. That's a decision.
Absolutely. That's a decision. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I don't ask God what I should eat for breakfast. I don't ask God what shoes should I wear, what purse should I carry. I make a decision. And I think if Christians are not careful, we become robots. And God has not designed us to be robots. In fact, he gave us free will. So what is it that you can do with your free will? What do you want to do with your free will? We're more creators than what we really give ourselves credit for being.
We're more creative than we give our credit. And it's already in us.
It's already in us.
It's already there, and all you have to do is pull it out.
Because we're created in his image.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember your first coaching session, the first time you sat down with someone, and how was that for you?
I don't remember my first coaching session, but I remember my first teleconference.
Okay.
My first teleconference was in 2009, and we advertised it for at least 4 weeks. We had 0 callers. That was my first teleconference. So now when people call into my teleconference lines and it's booked, you can't get through. We're now on line 2, 3, and 4, or the line is at capacity, or we have 5,000 callers on the line. I tell people, you understand it was a process to get here. Right. Because I can remember the days when I would advertise my teleconferences and no one would call on. But now I literally might send out a tweet or a Facebook message 2 hours before, and it's like literally shutdown mode. So that's what I remember. And I share that story because I really like encouraging people to help them understand it's a process.
Talk about that process, because many people feel, and we talk about stuff all the time, they think that, you know, I have an idea, I want to do this, and it just happens, and they forget or they don't be mindful of the process. Talk about the process it takes from 2009 to where you are today. What was that process like for you?
You know what? Keeping the faith and knowing what I was called to do and doing it no matter how many people showed up. At the end of the day, you're not called to preach or to speak or to coach a specific amount. You're called to preach, teach, and coach. At least that's my call. And I think if we're not careful, we have a lot of preachers who are in it for the fame or maybe the celebrity of it. And so if they have a conference and only 10 people show up, it's a problem. Well, what if those are the 10 people that God would have you to minister to? So are you discouraged by the number? Because you can still be impactful and purposeful despite how many people show up.
One of the things that Bishop says all the time, whether it's 6 people or 600 people, he gonna bring it the exact same way.
Absolutely.
And that is so necessary.
Yeah, it's not the people's problem that it wasn't promoted right or wasn't marketed right or the people are not there. So it's unfair. I think it's like a preacher getting up on Sunday morning and the people that are at church, you fussing at them because of the people that didn't show up. You know how preachers do. Ain't nobody here today. Well, talk to the people that's here. Why are you fussing at us? We came to church.
Absolutely.
We here. Why are you fussing at us?
Live and in living color.
And then you use the scripture, wherever two or three are gathered. Just what do you do about you know, Kirk Franklin has a new CD about religion, you know, or whatever it's called, you know, my religion.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? A lot of things we do is religious. It's religion. It's not. It has nothing to do with Bible. Correct. It has nothing to do. It has become our traditions rather than being progressive. How do you tell people about it? Because a lot of people are stuck in their own traditions, in their own personal life.
You know what? Traditions are not bad, but at the place that I feel in bondage, I'm quick to tell people that's typical, not biblical, and I stand by that. So for me, you know, one of the things I began identifying very early on in my own personal walk with God is the difference between communing with God, communing with the Holy Spirit, and then having an emotional experience. You've had an emotional experience when you can go to church, but then your life doesn't change. You've had an encounter with God when you go home and your entire life changes. And so I think that, you know, particularly in the African-American community, if we're not careful, we'll go to church, we'll shout, we'll sing, we'll fall out, we'll high-five our neighbor, but then we'll go home to the same problems. That's not an encounter with God. Nowhere in the Bible do you see where people encountered Jesus and their entire lives did not change. So I think, you know, when you start seeing cycles in your life, when you start seeing patterns in your life, and then you say, you know what, but I've been going to this church for 10 years and nothing has changed, that is the place to say, you know what, maybe this is typical and not biblical. Maybe this is traditional. Maybe I need a little more. What life strategies can I begin implementing so that I can begin to see the changes I want to see and begin living the life that I want to live?
How does one know that they need a life coach in their life?
You know what? If there's any area in your life that you're failing in and you need additional strategies in, you need a coach. You know, when
Somebody could say that's a psychiatrist.
Well, you know what? And let me tell you something. I stand behind church people going to get.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
And you might, and there are people who come through my coaching program, and I say, you know what, this is well above my head. You need a therapist. And I'm very honest with people because I love them, and I don't do it for the money. But at the end of the day, if there's an area in your life that you keep failing in, I had one lady come through my coaching program a couple of weeks ago, and she said, you know what, no matter how much money I make, I can't save. I said, okay, you need to go talk to a financial advisor. Okay, and so being honest about what areas in your life you're failing in, and then going to speak to someone who has an expertise in that area that can help you get better.
Yeah, we're talking to Tara Carissa. You know her from social media. She has thousands following. I'm trying to catch up. I'm just trying to get a few more folks. She has thousands following her, and she's here with her. When we come back, what we want to do is give her some scenarios. We're going to give some free life coaching right here, some scenarios whereby, you know, we're going to put in some different modes of different people that need life coaching. And so when we come back on the Greg Davis Show, stay tuned for more. Don't forget to go to the website, gregdavisshow.com. If you want to be on the show, you also can write us at gregdavisshow@gmail.com. Me and Lola will be back right after these messages. Hey, I'm Greg Davis, and over 3 years ago, I started posting tweets and posts on When the Right One Comes. Well, I tried to stop, but they wouldn't let me stop. So everybody's been asking me to write a book, When the Right One Comes. So I've taken all of my collections of When the Right One Comes, and I'm putting them in one book. You can pre-order the book right now by going to gregdavisshow@gmail.com. That's gregdavisshow@gmail.com. Order now, When the Right One Comes.
How I Did It. Pick up this life-changing book today by Bishop Greg Davis.
Bishop Davis shares his amazing story of dramatic weight loss,
Overcoming Diabetes,
and his new journey to healthy living without surgery, dieting, or medication.
How I Did It. An incredible weight loss story captured in less than 50 pages.
It tells the bishop's testimony of his lifestyle change after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in April 2010.
In less than 8 months, he lost over 80 pounds and was completely healed of diabetes.
To date, he has lost over 110 pounds and feels phenomenal.
How I Did It by Bishop Davis.
A personal testimony requested by people all over the country.
He did it, and so can you. Order your copy now
on Amazon.com
or send a seed of $25, which includes shipping and handling too.
Greg Davis Ministry, P.O. Box 44072, Detroit, Michigan 48244.
That's Greg Davis Ministry, P.O. Box 44072, Detroit, Michigan 48244.
Shout out to Eutropia. She's wonderful. Our whole team. We're back. Don't forget to get my book. What's my book called? When the Right One Comes. That's the one.
Is it When the Right One?
It is When the Right One Comes.
When the Right. I need to read that book.
You do. When the Right One Comes. Go to the website Greg Davis Show and get over 697 quotes on When the Right One Comes. You can click on right now and just order up some books right now.
And it's a great time. You know what? This is a great segue because this is going to be a great book to give for the holidays. I think over your Thanksgiving dinner, you should be, you eat your turkey and you go through some of the inserts and just talk about because some of you are looking for the right one.
Yeah.
And you want to be thankful for a few things, and if you get When the Right One Comes, you may be thankful for that right one when it comes. And then if it doesn't happen around Thanksgiving, then you just simply get a book and give it out for Christmas. So then for the new year, you'll be ready for the new year because the right one will come because you can prepare yourself.
Oh, you really did that.
I did that for you.
Now you did that. All right. Order the book. Go to the website. We're back with Tara Carissa. She is a life coach, and if you're not following her, make sure you do. Are you on Periscope?
I am on Periscope, but I have not done a video yet.
What?
I know. Everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You know what? I'm going to do my first Periscope tonight. How about that?
Wow. I'm ahead of you.
You are ahead of me, but not for long.
Wow. I know what you going. You be done past my little almost 7,000 pass. If you're not following us on Periscope, make sure that you follow all of us on Periscope. It's the app to get now. You talk about coaching, and we talk relationship. We do our radio show on there. Your Periscope is going to be what?
Tara Carissa.
Everything's Tara Carissa.
Oh, yes.
And,
I own my name.
All right. All right. Own it. So if someone come to you and they need coaching, and here's the number one question that I think, I don't know what my purpose is in life.
That's
and I'm not making life for that.
Number one question that I get.
I know it is.
Yes.
I wasn't being funny. I know what I'm talking about.
Everyone asks me about that.
My purpose was.
I'm 50 years old and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, see, y'all wrong. But you know what?
Somebody watching right now.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Your purpose is a combination of your past, your pain, and your passion.
Oh, wait a minute, do it again. Y'all getting this for free. Y'all better be watching.
Your purpose is a combination of your past, your pain, and your passion. God does not waste materials, okay? So everything that you've been through is connected to what God wants you to be doing in your future. But what are you naturally passionate about? For me, I've always been a speaker. I've always been a writer. So for me to get on social media and tweet or Facebook, whatever the case may be, that's my purpose because that's my natural talent and gifting. And then you look at things that I've been through. I'm always talking about, ministry and overcoming, different difficulties that you may have trying to stay on the straight and narrow. So, all of that, it works together to become a part of my purpose. But another thing I want to tell people about purpose that I don't think enough people realize is that purpose is seasonal. In one season of his life, David's purpose was to be a shepherd. In another season, his purpose was to be a warrior. But yet in another season, his purpose was to be a king. And so I think sometimes we miss out on our seasonal purpose trying to see what our ultimate purpose is.
Now,
You don't have to agree, Bishop?
No, it's not that I don't agree, but I think his overall purpose was a shepherd to lead the people no matter what phase. I think that what our purpose is, the purpose don't change, but I think the assignment does.
Well, let me add clarity because, again, remember I said past.
He was still leading as a shepherd, but his assignment in the way that he did it changed.
Well, which reflects back to my original point.
Okay.
Your purpose includes your past. So his past as being a shepherd, leading the sheep is what prepared him to lead the people.
Right.
So that's how it all comes together. But I think that if we're not careful, we're so focused on the ultimate, we're so focused on the palace that we don't understand that the pit and prison is a part of your purpose too.
Definitely.
That's the key. Definitely. There's as much purpose in your pit as there is in the palace.
Right.
Do you do relationship coaching as well?
I do, and it's very interesting because not only, a lot of times when we say relationship, we think about romantic relationships, but some of my most rewarding coaching sessions as relates to relationships has been with mothers and daughters. I don't think that people understand how treacherous those relationships can be at times. And so just being able to sit down and get a mom and daughter on the phone who have not spoken in months, and both of them saying, we follow you on social media, help us work through this. this? What are your thoughts? What's your opinion? And really being able to sit there and help them work through some things. That really is a highlight for me.
What do you say to the business relationships that we've been in business 4 or 5 years, 10 years, and we're at an impasse where we've grown, but I want to go in this direction, he wants to go in that direction. How do you mentor or coach those types of scenarios?
You know what? I think that's phenomenal, because just because you start with someone doesn't mean that you will finish with that person. So it's not the fact that you're leaving, but it's how you leave. So just like you came together for a business strategy, let's come up with a strategy on how we can part ways and still remain at peace. And so I really tell people that life is just one big strategy. How am I going to do this the most effective and peaceable way? And so for most people, when they run into situations, it's really not the fact that you made a decision. It's how you have chosen to act with that decision that you've made, and that's the key.
I grew up, give me a scenario.
All right.
And my father left when I was, young. I was a baby. Him and my mother got a divorce. And this is not me for real. And mine was never married, just because people be trying to put, what is he asking? Is Lim and Lola getting ready to part ways? We give you a scenario.
Yeah,
scenario.
It's a scenario. You got to say
nowhere.
that. You got to say, I try to fire every day.
Yeah, I still come back.
So he's now 30 years old. Parents separated when he was 2 or 3 years old. How do you coach him to move on? I mean, this happened 27 years ago. So why are you still holding on to it?
You know why we hold on to things? We hold on to things because of what we perceive that we lost. Okay, and so
that's good.
What I would have to say to him is, what do you think you lost out on by not having a father? You lost out on a lot, and we accept that. We're not going to brush over that, but let's really identify what you think that means. Because for some man, if they did not grow up with a father, they interpret that as meaning, you know what, I'm never going to be the best man that I can be. Well, why do you believe that? Let's go deeper. Let's uncover that. And then let's come up with strategies to prove to you that you can be all of who you can be despite what your beginning was. And so really getting to the core, I never will forget, I coached a woman who had just lost her mother. And that's totally understandable. She was crying and very upset and very sad. But in the middle of her breakdown, I said, I want you to tell me what you think you lost. She said, I will never be able to celebrate Mother's Day again. I said, that's a lie. I said, somewhere you can go to a nursing home and be a daughter to a woman who never had a child. Somewhere you can go be a mother to an adopted child who would love on you, and you literally become their mother. So it's redefining what it is that you lost and looking at it from a different perspective and recapturing it in a way that you can at this age. Everybody knows I am 32 years old, and my one dream, if everybody wants to know what is it that I have never done that I want to do at 32, and I decree and I declare I'm going to do it, I'm not leaving this earth until I'm a flower girl. I have never been a flower girl. I've been a bridesmaid, but I missed that, you know what I mean, as a little girl. And I'm joking. Of course, I've given up the dream of being a flower girl.
Y'all need a flower girl.
Yeah,
she's available.
You find somebody, I'll let you do my flowers.
Go to her website. She wants to put petals.
But here's the deeper meaning of that is I
think you need a life coach for that.
You know what, Bishop? But you know what? I have a coach. Every coach needs a coach.
Okay.
But the deeper root issue was, in all seriousness, is all of my other girlfriends got to be a flower girl. So why did I miss out on that part? No, listen, y'all.
No, go ahead.
If you're getting married, I'm going to be your flower girl.
Before we end today, get some petals. We're going to let her.
We just going to let her do it right here.
Let me get it out. And so what I realized is, you know what? You didn't miss out on what you thought you missed out on. You can reinvent your life and be happy right where you are. And you're not going to understand that you can still have happiness where you are if you think that happiness is still behind you.
Let me give you another scenario. One of the things that we deal with, I've been working this job for, 10 years, and it's not going anywhere. It's not really what I want to do. There's no promotion in sight. How do I make that change? How do you make a career change? I know you've had people probably come to you. How do I make a career change?
And I've also had to make a career change myself strategically. Everything is about strategy. By the time people come through my coaching calls, they're ready to quit their job right now today. That's not wisdom. How can we plan this out so that you're still in a great place financially? How can we plan this out so that you have the skills and the training to transition into the next phase of your life successfully? So again, it's not about wanting to transition from where you are, but it's about how you go about doing that. That's the key.
Yeah. We're talking to Tara Carissa again, and the reason why I'm doing this is because she knows what she's talking about. I've watched Tara the last few years, even on social media, how she has literally young ladies literally flock to her because she has substance to say. Let me ask you this. Pastor, and we got about 3 minutes. Pastor Weldon Smith said to me, I always use the statement of experience is best teacher, and he corrected me, and he said, respectfully so, Bishop, experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom. There's some things I don't have to go through if I listen to your wisdom.
Amen.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that some of the things that you probably have been through, that's really what you're ministering, with lack of a better word, to the people that you're coaching from your own?
Absolutely, from my own pain, from my own trials, from my own ups and downs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope that there are things that I can tell people about that they don't walk through because of the wisdom that I give them. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. If you can just pay attention to other people, then you can learn from their life, and you can say, okay, I don't have to go that way. What could they have done better? What could they have done differently? One of the things that I'm very adamant about, just from watching other people, is I made a decision very early on in ministry that preaching would not be my sole source of income. I would own multiple businesses, and I would do different things. I would write books, and I would participate in different media projects, because I saw, just from watching other people before me, maybe that's not the best route to go. And so definitely keep your eyes open, and not just to judge people, but to learn from people.
So are you available to come do groups and individuals? Are you available to travel?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, starting in January, I kick off my Life Now coaching tour. I'm very excited about that. I'll be doing group coaching sessions in Detroit, Chicago, New York, San Juan, Miami, LA, New Orleans, Houston, and Atlanta. So I'm very excited about that. And
then you're doing reality.
You know what? I have been approached to do reality several times. I just got a recent invitation to do it. I'm not sold on doing reality, but I definitely will be in the media next year. So we'll see what comes of that.
Okay. Website, where can they find you if they're interested in bringing you in? Or even if those that are watching now, you'll do one-on-one also?
I will do one-on-one, absolutely. Now, there is a wait on that because I'm kind of backed up by at least a month. But if you email in, we'll definitely get to you. But my website is Tera, T-E-R-A, Carissa, C-A-R-I-S-S-A.com.
TeraCarissa.com. Go to her website and book her, schedule her. Pastors, sometimes you don't need somebody to come preach. You need somebody to come motivate and coach. So those of you that are watching, again, TeraCarissa.com. Thank you for sharing with us, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you go to our website. Those that come on the show, they come in on their own, and so we want you to support them by bringing them in. The way that you sow into her is that by bringing her in, let her coach your team, even businesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a business coach too. If your leaders at your church, they need to be motivated in strategies and how to. The children of darkness are wiser than the children of light, because we don't have any strategies. Been a great show.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow morning, y'all, 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. The Greg Davis Radio Show, me and Lola. We out. We'll see you next time.